We are going to make it right.
If you became a millionaire, would you keep working? You know?
Great job, brother. Just fun to meet Shelby.
What's going on right now is California's trying to figure out.
Don't pop your butt.
Yeah. Oh, I can. Welcome to BitBoy Crypto, home of the BitSquad, the largest and greatest crypto community in all of the interwebs. No channel works harder to keep you in the know about crypto than this one right here. My name is Ben. We come to you live every single day at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Today is Monday, February the 20th. Man, February just flying by. 71 degrees. We found out now TJ has a birthday this month. Actually, already had it. How old are you, TJ? 34?
Yep.
God, you're so old. That's cool, bro.
Time flies.
Yeah, it does when you're not having fun. So somebody made a comment. I think it was, who was it? Was it Hudson maybe? He mentioned, like, guys, this is gonna be crazy what I'm about to tell you guys. No one's gonna believe this. Did you know February has the least amount of birthdays of any other month? Wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Which then you made the good point actually makes sense because it has the least amount of days.
Obviously. Obviously, guys, it has the least amount of days. That's why it's got the least birthdays. That would make sense, right? Guys, we are going to be talking about a lot today, but let's get started with this story here about Kraken and Binance. What a weird story this is. What a strange story. Kraken and CZ going at each other. Now, you guys know wow, that thing. Who likes mice these days? When we're looking at this story here, I don't know if this was confusion. I don't know if CZ meant this to come off the way that he said it. It's just very peculiar. And didn't Jesse Powell cut his hair? Why are we still using old hair pictures of Jesse Powell? It's a great question. Kraken CEO Jesse Powell says regulators support the bad guys in crypto. And this is a story I was watching all weekend. I think this actually is a very fascinating story. Your average person in crypto may or may not care about it. But for me, someone who's been in crypto for a while and knows all the players in this and knows the struggle of fighting regulation behind the scenes, man, what an incredible release of information we got over the weekend from this and Custodia Bank, what Caitlin Long was talking about. Kraken CEO Jesse Powell has once again come out lazing. Have you ever lazed before?
I have not.
I like those potato chips. At the regulators, noting that they have been supporting the bad guys in crypto while treating the good guys as enemies. Regulators let the bad guys get big and blow up because it serves their agenda. Kraken CEO noted that regulators have been ignoring their warnings about scams and fraud. Custodian Bank, it's Custodia, it's not Custodian actually. Custodia Bank CEO Caitlin Long has also shared Powell's views on the matter. And so let's see. Let's go to Twitter real quick and check out what they were saying here. What is Six Figs doing? He's getting wasted there. Wow. Okay. All right. Let's see here. Caitlin Long, Custodia Bank. I didn't know she was of Custodia Bank. I didn't realize that. Let's see here. Let's see what she said here. More facts revealed. Custodia Bank renews push for FET for master account. Caitlin Long says crypto won't be uninvented. Blah blah blah. Oh, these are older stories here. The point is, she said that basically, here it is. Was this it? Where she was saying that they basically went to regulators and told them. The screen's really weird today, by the way. I don't know why it's so far.
You're used to seeing this covered.
Oh, that's probably what it is. But the point is she said their bank literally called out problems with companies like FTX to the regulators, and they did nothing about it. And of course, I tweeted some of my good tweets on this issue here. Let's see here. Did you see this, by the way? Why are we not talking about this? The OneCoin's crypto queen allegedly murdered in 2018.
Jeez.
Did you hear that?
I didn't hear anything about it.
Well, crazy. Here, Kraken and Custodia Bank CEOs say regulators ignored their warnings about scams and fraud. Jesse Powell and Caitlin Long said that trying to do the right thing by warning regulators of possible scams blew up in their faces. What if I told you the regulators were part of the scam? Would you believe me? Time for Congress to boot Gary Gensler. Guys, Gary Gensler met with the biggest scammer in the history of the world for 6 months before FTX collapsed. It just shows you the type of snake that Gary Gensler is. That this man would literally meet with the biggest fraud who was causing person after person to lose all their money in crypto, all of their cash, all of their savings, causing them to lose that. He was willing to meet with him, knowing all this was going on. Gary Gensler definitely knew all this was going on. There's no way he couldn't have known this. There's no way he could not have known this. Just for him to get all the credit for pushing crypto regulation. That's the kind of person Gary Gensler is, okay? That's number one. Number two here, I also said this. Remember this, guys. In crypto, the good guys turn out to be the villains, and the villains turn out to be heroes. We see this over and over and over again. We got Link D's here with a super chat, $70 million from creditors to Celsius litigation account to pursue creditors, retail clawback. But guys, that's not done yet. We don't know if that's done yet. The judge still has to approve that entire plan. So that doesn't mean if there's enough pushback against that retail clawback, which I say F Celsius, F the UCC, F all of them, if they're going to think they're going to do retail clawbacks, we're going to push to make sure this doesn't go through 100%. I don't care what the plan is. I don't care who's supporting it. We will push for this not to go through. That's beside the point, though. As I'm saying here, that's what's going on. You've got people reporting to the regulators what's going on. And then you have CZ chiming in. This is so strange for CZ. Basically, he's taking, let me tell you what this is. CZ is very sensitive because he's gotten a lot of pushback against being a Chinese citizen. That's what CZ's gotten. You hear it all the time. And I believe he would probably think it's racist. That people would say, oh, CZ, he's working with the CCP. He's really involved with the Chinese Communist Party and, trying to, Kevin O'Leary trying to make ties between CZ and the CCP. And because of that, I think he's overly sensitive to this. And he says, the word offshore, Jesse Powell used the word offshore quite often. Here's my feedback. The term offshore appears overly narrow-minded, self-centered, misses the broader picture, and unhelpful to the development of our industry. That he's not talking about you, CZ. First of all, he's saying this is what the regulators are saying. The regulators are saying they're offshore, it's complicated, we're looking at everybody. That's what he says they're saying. The regulators, Jesse Powell isn't saying that, first of all. Second of all, what you have to understand here is that the term offshore means they're trying to skirt around U.S. regulation laws. That's what it means. So Binance, a company started somewhere totally different, Binance would not be considered offshore in this context. It was started in another country. We're talking about FTX that tried to circumvent U.S. regulation by going through the Bahamas, Hong Kong first, and then the Bahamas. It's about skirting U.S. regulation. Binance was never set up for U.S. regulation. So he goes all about this. And now, Ben, we all know about Gensler. He is still in charge. Gary Gensler's not in charge, guys. I hate to tell you this. This is a whole other topic we can talk about. Guys, what is the power that Gary Gensler has? What's the power? What's he able to do? What is he able to do? File lawsuits against companies? That's all he can do is file lawsuits. He has no real power or authority. Only Congress gives him the power and authority that he has. He's going to get booted before the end of this year. But understand this. Gary Gensler only has the power to make people's lives miserable through lawsuits. That's all that he has. If Gary Gensler says something as a security, you understand it's not a security, right? It's only a security once a judge says, we agree it is a security. All he can do is he can make suggestions. That's his only power. Hey, you give this guy way too much credit. People give this guy way too much credit. He can't change policy. You understand that, right? So anyways, the point here is I think CZ's way off base for the stuff he's trying to defend here. I understand why he's doing it. He's overly sensitive, but Jesse Powell is not the one he should be going after here. So basically, Jesse Powell is saying companies that are setting up offshore to get around U.S. regulation, they're being rewarded for that, and we got to stop that. And so, meanwhile, Kraken is getting in trouble.
Yeah, I thought Jesse, I mean, he had a pretty good theory there. Basically, he goes on to in his thread to say it's The SEC allows this to happen because it serves their best interests. Because the bad actors end up sucking up users, sucking up capital, you know, VC investor capital, and then when it all explodes, it makes a big splashy sign for the SEC and regulators to step in and see, well, see, told you, you guys need us to protect you, when in the meantime, they were the ones who allowed it to happen the entire time.
Ben for the new head of the SEC. I'd take it on. I'd take it on. Put me in charge of the SEC. I'll tell you what, I get some dang good football. Okay. SEC goes after small companies and forces them to settle to make millions. That's what they do. They just go after with lawsuits. That's, guys, you understand the lawsuit, the SEC is not like a rule-making body. You understand that, right? It's not a law-making body. The SEC is not. The SEC works for Congress. They don't have independent power, right? You understand this. I want everybody to understand. Gary Gensler is completely powerless. And yes, I saw someone in the chat say he's a puppet. Of course he's a puppet. He worked at Goldman Sachs. He's helping clear the way for USDC and Circle. That's what he's doing here. So there you go. Yeah, he's always, Gary Gensler is always good for a rant. So, all right, don't forget to check out BitBoy Crypto here on the YouTubes. 1.45 million subscribers. I don't know if we'll ever tick up in the history of mankind. We'll see. We got 2.6 thousand people watching. Don't forget to smash that like button, guys. Number one thing you can do as a member of the BitSquad. And you know what? It's not just about being a member of the BitSquad. It's about helping crypto adoption. That's what it's about. You help crypto adoption when you like these videos. And don't forget, we've got plenty of other channels as well. Don't forget to hit up Frankie Candles, the BitLab Academy. This channel is rolling right now. Hit Networks, where we got our 24/7 crypto channel going. I think that ticked up, didn't it, to 113?
Mm-hmm.
No, it's still...
Or maybe ticked down over the weekend.
Man.
But it was at 113.
Around the Blockchain Basement, All Madden Sports. That's my kids' channel. Of course, we still got an NFT Alpha. We need to take off the Spanish show. We're not really doing that right now. Is it possible to hit 1 million in the upcoming bull run? And what would you do to add from half a Bitcoin, 10 ETH, 23,000 ADA, 5,000 SAN, 275? I get rid of that AMP immediately. Get rid of AMP immediately. Guys, now the AMP has that pending SEC, security label on it, even though there's no way that SEC is going to win that now because secondary sales for library credit tokens have already been said not to be securities. I just think AMP's not going to run as long as that's happening. So there you go. So I can't work out the math. I don't know what that value is, or that portfolio is worth right now. But I mean, yeah, I think probably somewhere around $50,000 to $60,000 is what you got there. Certainly that can hit $1 million, I believe. So yeah, I had high hopes for AMP as well. BitBoy for King of North America. I'll take it. I'll take it. I'll take the King of North America. I will be very nice to my loyal subservience. Don't forget to follow us here on Instagram. You saw Instagram's going to start charging for verification too now.
I did see that.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think Facebook is also.
Yeah, it was Meta.
Yep.
Yeah.
Meta verification. How stupid. 479K here. I thought it was 497. 479. Okay. And then don't forget to follow us on Twitter. We're about almost 1.05 million at this point. Don't forget to check us out here. I'm back to tweeting a lot. So I've been tweeting a lot. My trades have been working out. This is the picture of depression. What do you think about that? What do you think about that dog? We wouldn't let him on the couch, and this is what you get. That is Otis Wilbur Brutus III, or Odie Wilbs, as he is most affectionately known. Don't forget to check out Catching Up to Crypto. We have our book tour finishing up this week, or at least the stops. We got Philadelphia and New York Thursday and Friday this week. I'll actually be gone tomorrow, Thursday and Friday. C12 tomorrow, and then Thursday and Friday, Philadelphia and New York. March 8th, we will be here in Atlanta from 7 to 10 doing our end of the tour blowout. And then, of course, we're going to try to work in some other cities throughout the year and stuff. So I do think probably Crypto Mason is the prince for Canada. Yeah, sure. He still has to bow down to the King of North America, though. Okay. We love Crypto Mason. So you let that dog on that couch. That's pretty funny. Put him on a diet. He's a bulldog. He's supposed to be fat, y'all. Have you ever seen our offensive line? Okay. You check out a lot of these cool shirts we wear here on the show, obviously on hitmerch.com. A lot of stuff going on there. Go to the homepage. We've got a lot. What is this get doinked?
I think that's the gaming stuff.
That's the gaming stuff. They love to get doinked over there. Do you like to get doinked?
I can say I've never been officially doinked.
What if you were to get doinked? How would you like it? One shot?
One shot. Yeah. Headshot, maybe.
Headshot. I like that. That's good. That is good. Okay, looking at the markets here. 22,601 cryptos. Exchanges 546. Market cap. Well, let's go back to the market cap. $1.125 trillion. Jack says Ben's looking healthy. Well, good. I'm planning to survive till the end of the bull run. 24-hour volume 70.1 or almost $71 billion. Bitcoin dominance at 42.5%. ETH dominance 18.4%. And guys, this number is just not running like they told you it would run. I don't think it's getting over 50. I definitely don't think it's getting over 55% on this run. We'll see what happens. Let's see.
You think it does get to 50 though? Pretty good odds, or are you
No.
50-50 on it getting to 50?
Yes, 50-50 on getting to 50. Yeah. Rob says, when I went to the book meet and greet, we had to enter our ETH address for NFT. What should we see that? And
When?
should have already been done.
Yeah.
So I have to check on that and see which one. And then here we go for the big number. 23.5 Paraguays to send an ETH transaction. Bitcoin coming in at 24,833. I closed my long. Guys, I did something crazy yesterday. I longed Bitcoin last night on a Sunday after I made so much fun at people that long on a Sunday. I longed it at 24.2.
Nice.
Well, yeah, but then it went down to 23.8.
Ooh.
And I was feeling I was down like 50% on a trade. And I said, God, this thing just cannot go down any lower. And then it bounced up. And then before you know it, we were back up above 24. And I closed that thing right before 25 for 103% gain on my trade. Down 50% to 103% gain. Pretty good. Trying to make some big moves. We were down pretty low in the old trading portfolio, but we're still down a lot, but we're trying to make it happen. Ethereum coming in shade under 1,700. And I tell you, you know what I was thinking? I was thinking about Ethereum, and I was thinking about, I had a mom from one of the my kids. There you go, Rob. Sure thing. Thank you for the super chat. Had one of the moms on one of my kids' baseball teams. They're all interested in crypto, obviously. When you pull up in the Gucci Lamborghini, they're like, how did you do that? Well, I just bought a bunch of Ethereum. There you go. So I remember back in probably it was in the fall. So it was probably like September or October, and Ethereum dropped all the way down to $1,000. I think it bounced back up to about 1,100, somewhere around there. And she said, well, when should I get in? I said, it's a good time to buy Ethereum now. $1,100. It might go down to 1,000, but that's probably the bottom. And I told you guys that I thought that the merge in September would keep Ethereum from hitting a new low, even if Bitcoin hit a new low. And you guys know what happened? Bitcoin hit a new low and Ethereum stayed above $1,000. It did not go down below that. So we nailed that one dead on. I mean, the tokenomics for Ethereum are phenomenal. And I'm feeling pretty good about encouraging her to buy that Ethereum around $1,100. Maybe it was $1,200, wherever it was. It was below $1,200 for sure. And now it's at $1,700. So doing pretty well, looking pretty healthy. Man, you still see these people out here that are saying 12K. They're still saying it. They're unbelievable.
Well, my question is always, when will they stop? What number do they have to see to stop? And like, if they have a number and they don't stick to it, that's where like if they say, oh, 25 or 25, whatever, 24. Because a lot of people, it was 22 and change, 24 and change. And then that happens. And then they're still saying,
give Corey a wrench, by the way. Give him a wrench.
Who? I just did.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like, can you, like what we said is when we were trying to figure out bear market or bull market back in April, we said, look, we're going to give this thing until the Bitcoin conference, because of the Bitcoin conference, we always get a run up, and we were getting a run up into that. If it goes down after the Bitcoin conference, then we're bear market for sure. You know what happened? It pumped up, got right to 50, and then plummeted back down to like 38. We're like, that's it. It's over. That's it. You got to have those mile markers where we've really learned over this market, over this last 4-year cycle here. It's okay to pivot, and it's okay to trust your instincts. When your instincts are telling you one thing, go with that. You're going to be right most of the time when you've been in this space for a while. we did not do a good job of trusting our own instincts and doing what we told you we were going to do. We ended up getting a little scared of not doing it. I told you guys it went below 38K, sell everything. And it went below 38K and we didn't sell everything. I wish we would have. We'd be sitting in a nice, pretty spot here. So, and then I saw it go up just a little bit. All right, right there. Can't remember. There was something where somebody said, oh, there it is. Dislipter says, Ben, I wasn't able to go to one of your book tour stops. And your book just arrived. Can I mail you my copy of your book and have you sign it? Anyone who wants their book signed, especially those that were at the meetups, if you mail your book here, include a return label. I can't spend, $15 to ship a zillion books back to you guys. But if you put a return label in there, I will sign it and we'll drop it back in the mail and send it back. So there you go. Capo making so many people lose money on shorts. Absolutely. Absolutely. I agree with that 100%. Like at this point, if you can't at least, and you come on up, Frank, if you can't at least be like, maybe I was wrong at this point, you're really not helping your audience. So Conflux, Stacks, Blockstack's crushing it. Neo, Huobi token, Gate token.
500% on the week on Conflux.
I don't know what I don't trust that. I'll have to look see what that is. I don't know what it is. You know what it is?
The coin?
Yeah.
No,
I
don't
have
know
never
anything
heard of it. Interesting. Up 500%. Apparently.
I moved it for the Super Bowl. I haven't put it back yet.
What is going on, guys? I hope you're having a good day. We got some interesting stuff to look at here on the charts. We have some potential bearish things setting up. They're not quite printing yet. And when I say bearish, I don't mean it's going to dump down to 10K. I just mean in the shorter term. As you guys know, I have been, I am leaning a little bit more bullish ever since we made that higher high on the weekly. Shout out to Kraken C says, Uncle Frankie, as you guys know, or at least people who watch my live stream will know, I went to my now know nephew's gender reveal this weekend in North Carolina. I'm going to be
How old is your nephew?
well, he's 4 months in the stomach.
Oh, I thought it was a gender review after.
Yeah, well,
Okay, I digress.
well, I keep saying, hey, I went to my sister's gender reveal, and then I have to be like, well, no, my sister knows her gender. It's her baby's gender, whatever. Anyway, Uncle Candles now, super pumped to meet my my new nephew. He's gonna, I'm already starting a little bit of a Bitcoin and eat bag for him. Yeah, well, I have my sister's doing special exercises. I already have her on a high protein diet for the calves. So yeah, he will be coming out with thick old calves. But guys, let's go ahead and jump into the charts here real quick. I'm going to show you guys some key levels that I'm watching as we have created another little bit of a sideways range here. As you guys know, we love basically the way I look at these markets is, we range. I find those volume profile or those value area ranges. We trade those until we get a breakout. And then likely every time we get those breakouts, for the most part, a lot of the time we are in a trade from the opposite end of the range. But you can see we did get that most recent move up right here, and now we are starting to range again. So the local levels that I'm looking at right now, guys, is going to be basically this kind of range right here, or this value area. We have the value area high coming in at about $25,000, almost even. You have your POC down here at about 24,687, and then the value area low coming in at 24,177. So these are essentially the local levels that I am watching, and until we break up above that value area high, I am expecting price to continue to range around in here until we actually hop up on top of that value area high, hold it as support, and that is where you could potentially get another move to the upside. And if we zoom out quite a bit here for a minute, I do just want to show you guys, if we pull up our visible range volume profile, you can see here, obviously, we're essentially tapping on the door to this extremely low volume gap. And this is kind of where that if we do break these highs, these previous highs from August, I think you guys can see that right here, these previous highs, basically where we've been getting rejected here. We keep hitting our head on this level. And once we crack this level, flip it to support. And decisively hold this, start closing 2 4-hour candles, multiple 4-hour candles above here, and we can hold this as support, that is where we're expecting a potential move back up, all the way to that, I would say between $26,000 and $30,000. We'll likely start finding resistance, at the lows of this previous range here, which is coming in closer to the 28K level. But there are some other levels in here that we look at on my YouTube channel and in my Discords, my free Discord and my premium Discord. But, until we hold this value area high as support, I am not expecting that move up. And if we, get rejected here again, I will expect to come down at least down to this point of control. If not, potentially come down to this value area low all the way down at about $21,700. But obviously, we're pretty far away. We have a couple of different ranges. You guys will notice the levels the value area low I just talked about is different than the one I just mentioned. This is more of a macro value area that we've created here. This value area low is at 21.7. The POC at about 23K even, and then the value area high up here at about $25,000 even, right? And then that other range we were looking at was just on a lower time frame, a more local sideways range, and that was those levels I just gave you guys before. So scalping this range, and then if we break out of this little local range we have, that's where I start to zoom out and look at more of this macro range. So we are testing an extremely important level, and the reason I say that, guys, is because not only is it the value area high of this local range we have, but it is also the value area high of this more macro value area range that we have here. So this would be a pretty strong level of resistance. And again, if we break it, it could wind up being very bullish. But you guys will know I mentioned earlier, or just before I hopped on, I was saying, there are some bearish things popping up that we want to be, aware of, and that is here on the daily time frame. Not only that, we're seeing something very similar on the 4-hour, but as we approach this very strong level of as we approach this very important level of resistance, you can see here, guys, we have price continuing to the upside, making this big higher high right here. Let me move this over a little bit so you guys can see better. We have this higher high into our macro value area high, as well as, again, another reason why this is an important level is because it is, structural highs that we made here in August. So, as we put that higher high in here on the daily, you can see here, momentum waves continuing to the downside, money flow actually making a lower high here. And as we come down to these lower time frames, such as the 12-hour, the 16-hour, you can see we came down with the money flow, came up a little bit more, but essentially, if you just look at this as a, just all together, this is essentially just trending to the downside with the money flow here, which would be more of a bearish signal, right? So if we do wind up printing that daily bearish divergence, it would be I always say this when we have a macro bear div on a higher time frame, very unlikely that this will give us nothing, right? Doesn't mean it's going to absolutely dump us down to 0, right? Or dump us down to 12K or whatever everybody's looking at to the downside, but it's very, very unlikely that it will give us no move at all. So if that does confirm, I will expect some moves down in the medium term. And then, as we work our way up the higher daily time frames, you can see we have confirmed a green dot here on the 3-day, and the 4-day is printing a green dot. The 5-day has also confirmed a green dot. So some of these higher daily time frames actually don't look too bad, but the main thing I am looking for a big move down or a significant correction to the downside is going to be that weekly time frame. You can see we are a little bit, we are starting to cool off here with the VWAP, looking for this to print a red dot. And if we do wind up getting that with an actual bearish divergence on the daily time frame, that could be a pretty powerful move. Bring us down to get a nice correction. And then again, I am leaning more bullish in the longer term, but we would have to come down pretty far for us to flip bearish in the macro. So just some things I am looking out for, guys. Again, with that 5-hour green dot confirmed, that 4-hour green dot printing, it does look like we may be setting up here, guys. Very similar, random line, very similar to the daily. on these higher daily time frames, you know, you can see that we are starting to get that green dot here. If we start to see this momentum wave and we don't get a big move off of this green dot and this momentum wave falls down, we may start to get some bearish divergences on these higher daily time frames, which would be, in my opinion, a macro top signal. And again, not saying we're going to lower lows, but it would likely end in a significant move to the downside. A big level down if we do get a correction. You know, a big level I would be watching is this level at about $23,000 even. The reason I'm looking at that is because it is the point of control or the area where the most volume was traded of our, you know, our value area right here. And that range starts at about, you know, January 13th of this year, obviously. So this is kind of that would be the main level I'm looking at to the downside if that daily bear div does confirm. And again, you have to remember we are at the value area high of the range, so it wouldn't be unlikely to get a little bit of a rejection here. And you know, that first major down area to the downside that I would be looking for some support would be that POC. And then if we break that POC, it would be likely to come down to that value area low, again coming in at about $21,500. So keep an eye on that daily bear div, guys, because if that does print and confirm, you know, the last time we were looking at that daily bear div, it took a little bit to play out, but it did eventually play out. And when you go back and take a look at these things in, you know, in hindsight, you look at them and you're like, man, you know, I didn't think it was going to play out, but of course it did, right? They usually do. The divergences, especially on a high time frame like that, have a very, very high hit rate. So you just don't want to ignore this. And you just realize not only is the divergence there, you also have the money flow coming out on the 12 and the 16 hour. You're also at a very important level of resistance. And, you know, with that being said, we are kind of, I was saying this on my live stream on Thursday, we're kind of at a make or break moment, right? Because if we don't reject this value area high to come back down to visit that point of control or that value area low, and we wind up getting a crack a little bit higher and we hold the current value area high as support, that is where you might break into that low volume gap and get that big move to the upside, right? But that daily does look pretty horrifying. So guys, now you have the key levels to look at and kind of how I'm feeling about the markets. Don't forget, I go live every single weekday at 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Frankie Candles YouTube channel. And if you guys are interested, I do have a free Discord and a premium Discord where I spoon feed you the trade setups. We actually had a scalp short on Bitcoin hit like a few minutes ago. So shout out to anybody in the premium that got into that position. But with all that being said, guys, I think that's all the time I got for today. Back to Ben. Bing bong.
Bingy, bongy, bingy, bongy. Let me bring my thing. Need a propel. You need a propel. All right. Let's go ahead and Twitter buzz. Twitter buzz. Gary Gensler's shoe size is 17.
Twitter buzz. Twitter buzz.
Justin, FTX Japan customers can begin withdrawing fiat and crypto on February 21st. Now, there are a lot of different FTXs around the world, and not all of them are insolvent. They say FTX US isn't insolvent, yet they haven't enabled withdrawals yet. So very interesting to see Japan turning theirs back on, because you would think, even though they're subsidiaries, that a lot of these would still be paused until the bankruptcy is over. And so got a ways to go with that. But congratulations, FTX Japan. You get your money back. Awesome. Do you think the government could take away retail's off-ramps to fiat currency? No, they're not going to do that. They're not going to do that. Guys, they're not going to be, there it is. There is not going to be as much pushback against crypto as you think there is. Stablecoin, there's a lot of pushback, but they're not going to make it so no one in the United States can have crypto. That's just stupid. All right, good. Next. Justin, Instagram to start selling verification for $11.99 a month. What are your thoughts on this, TJ?
You know, not that interesting, I guess. I mean, I don't know if they really need to be selling them. That's something I feel like that should have been in place a long time ago. I'm sure it's just a response to Twitter. It's just a new revenue stream for them. Kind of meh, you know, is what it is. Yeah, I think it's one of these things where people, the average person can get verified now, but it's taken away a big revenue model from Instagram employees that sell these things for $15,000 to $20,000 behind the scenes. Yeah,
definitely do that. I paid for it. I think we paid for Instagram and Twitter, paid a lot of money for those. There should be, look, the whole reason we did that was to protect our audience. It wasn't because we wanted to look like we're legit. I mean, we were already the biggest channel at that point. So we just wanted to make sure so that our audience was protected and that our audience would be able to see the verification check mark. But I do think there should be some kind of differentiation between a $12 verification and someone who's been verified because they're a public figure. And obviously, you know, Twitter has done the gold check for corporations, but they haven't done any differentiation between a regular person. And when you go to Twitter and you go to your mentions, there is that one section that says verified. And it used to be when I would click that, it'd be like, oh, these are big people that are responding to me.
Right.
Now it's like everybody. So like they need to get rid of that tab or do something different. So that's what they should do, I think. But it doesn't bother me one way or the other. I don't care.
Yeah, I agree.
So,
they're taking out the dark market, but
yeah,
you know, we'll see how.
Which is good. I'm glad to see that. All right. Looking at this. Did you see what I said?
No.
Looking for the next generation of hosts. People want to interview people 15 minutes or so over specific topics on video and do it often. Who's looking for that? Are you looking for that?
Not really.
You want to do it, TJ?
No.
That's your guy. That's your guy. Who's your guy? Is it me or is it Gary V? Who's your guy? Pick. I want you to pick.
Guy for what?
Who's your guy?
Well,
Who's your guy?
It's got to be you.
Got to be me. Okay, I like to hear it. That was actually not the Gary Vaynerchuk tweet that I responded to. The one I responded to was, let's see, this one where he says,
was he trying to get people to host stuff for his?
I think so.
I don't even really understand what that tweet was referring to that we just read.
Just people doing interviews.
Just anybody doing interviews anywhere.
Yeah, for him, I think he wants new interviewers.
Gotcha.
So we had this. He said, "Who's the most interesting young creator making fun, short content about traditional finance?" My foot itches. Having an itchy foot over here.
About
speaking
traditional
of itchy,
finance.
Speaking of itchy, this is what I said. There's no such thing as fun content about traditional finance. That's like saying, who's the best person out there making herpes content? Oh, gosh. Are they his peas? Are they their peas? Or are they her peas? I don't know. What I do know is, how can you make traditional finance fun? You know? I don't understand. I don't understand. So there we go. Tea tree. That's what I use for my head. My foot, I don't know. My foot is just itching out of nowhere. I don't know where. Look at BitBoy Sucks in the chat. Says, great, his foot itches. What a name. Imagine making a whole entire account called BitBoy Sucks.
Yeah, it seems like there's some bot activity today.
Oh, is there?
A little bit.
People said the bots are getting killed. What does that mean?
Where?
I don't. That's
people keep saying that, but it's not happening on Twitter. It's not happening on Instagram.
Yeah. No. In the chat today, they're saying they're getting killed. I guess they're removing them.
Yeah. Well, I've seen a handful of the same comment from 5 different accounts.
Harpies, foot itch. Where is the crypto news? This guy's itch. Do y'all love the itchy foot? I don't love the itchy foot. I need to take my sock off and scratch my foot, but I'm not going to do it because I don't want to spread the itch here on the channel. Okay. Bitcoin Pure multiple hits 14-month high. Here's what it means. Bitcoin's 7-day MA Pure multiple has risen above 1 recently. As pointed out by an analyst, I'm going to have to take my sock off and itch my foot.
Well, when you're done, can you scoot the margin?
Yeah, I can actually. I told you there's something weird with it. There is something. It's way too far to the left today by a long shot.
Yeah, it is. It's probably the way the window's set up.
Yeah. Because like I'm all the way on the right side of my page here. As pointed out by analysts in a CryptoQuant post, the BTC price was around $48,000 the last time the metric was at its current level. Pure multiple is an indicator that measures the ratio between the daily revenue of the Bitcoin miners and the 365-day MA of the same. Now, here's a chart that shows the trend in the 7-day MA Bitcoin Pure multiple over the last couple of years. So you can see the Bitcoin price here, see where it was last at this price. So this is basically reversing all of this here as we're entering into a new level. We haven't been for some time. Hey, Ben, Decentral loves you. Instead of just DMing you, we rather donate to support you. Oh, well, thank you for that. Going to be hosting a GM Summit in LA on June 12th and 13th. E3 said no blockchain game, so we're going to show them what they're missing. Huh, okay, on June 12th and 13th. I'll see what I'm doing around that time. I can probably make it out for that. This is the first time in about 14 months the metric has crossed above the level 1. When the indicator is below 1, some miners may have trouble running their operations as the lower revenues may not pay costs like electricity bills. Thus, during times like this, some miners may be forced to sell their reserves to keep their facilities going. Now, here's what I say. Here's what I want to say. What I want to say is this, is that where is the miner capitulation narrative that everybody was saying? We must have the miners capitulate in order to have a bull run. I just don't think that's the case, really. And I think that we've looked at a lot of the, we've looked at, all the different indicators for when you're at the top of the market, when you're at the bottom. I don't ever remember miner capitulation being an indicator. Do you remember this?
Yeah, I mean,
the last bear market, miner capitulation was the story.
Yeah,
I guess of the hash wars.
My thing is, it depends on what you mean by capitulation. Does it mean, like, a lot of people think capitulation means selling, walking away, and never coming back? I mean, I think that's really the definition of capitulating, getting out of the market, where I don't think you really ever see miners do that. Now, selling a substantial amount at a loss to cover, sure, that happens. I think we did see the quote-unquote miner capitulation did happen pretty close to the bottom when we saw a lot of the ones with a lot of leverage, Core Scientific, going bankrupt.
It's a corporate capitulation.
Right. And that was
good point.
Yeah, that was leveraged Bitcoin mining getting washed out, just like we saw leveraged funds getting washed out. So that was what I would consider the minor capitulation in this cycle. But it's not what I think. It's a misappropriation of terms, in my opinion.
Robert Vermouth says Core Scientific did capitulate. It is a thing. We have a hash ribbon indicator because of it. Yeah, there's not always connection between the hash rate and the price of Bitcoin.
Right, the hash rate was actually going up.
Yeah, exactly.
This time, but we did see a shakeout of a lot of big operations, consolidation. But it's not like miners go away. And sure, it's probably referring to like retail miners turning their rigs off, which at this point with Bitcoin is fairly insignificant, I would say. It's all big corporate miners.
Oh, how about this? How about this chat here from Big Little John? Give up, Ben. If there's going to be a run, it's speculative again. If cryptocurrency was any good, we would all be millionaires. Some of us are, bud. Some of us are millionaires. A lot of people in this chat are millionaires. I see millionaires every time we go to meetups. Many because of this channel. If crypto, what do you think a stock market is? You think a stock market is not speculative? You think you look back at these tech stocks and you look at the price of Tesla. Tesla at the peak, they said it would have taken 160 years of it running at the current rate to become profitable. 160 years. Is that not speculative? What is speculative? Of course the crypto markets are speculative, you idiot. That's why we try to make money. That's why we try to pick hype coins.
That's why we're speculating.
That's why we're speculating. That's the entire thing. If cryptocurrency was any good, what does that even mean? Yeah, I tell you what. Let's go back to the very beginning of the internet and let's judge the first 10 websites and let's say, well, how's Netscape doing, mother chucker? How's America Online doing? How's Yahoo doing?
Actually,
those were all the first companies.
They're still doing surprisingly well, believe it or not.
Are they really?
Well, Yahoo and what was the second one you said?
America Online?
Yeah, AOL.
They're not doing well.
They're millionaires.
Well, the people that started it are.
Yeah. You'd be surprised. People don't realize even MySpace still makes millions of dollars a year selling the data from MySpace.
That's unreal.
It's unreal.
That's unreal. Take your shirt off. We did talk about that.
Oh, boy.
Oh, somebody says I'm cute when I'm ranting. Thank you, Big Little John, for making me look cute. Appreciate that. And that is speculative. All right. Low IQ. Big Little John. Your name is a freaking oxymoron. And you are a moron by proxy. Let's move on. That was the dumbest chat I've seen in here all week.
Yeah, and just to be constructive there, one thing, like if you're trying to get
No, you stop, TJ.
I'm just saying.
We're not gonna turn this into something that makes sense.
No, I'm not. I'm just saying if you're trying to get rich quick in crypto, that's one of the easiest ways to lose a lot of money quick. Time, we say it a lot. Be time in the market versus trying to buy, nail it. You're not gonna get rich in a year, 2 years. Give it 4, 5, 8, you'll probably be a millionaire.
Yeah.
Most people I know that have been in crypto for more than 5 years are doing very well.
Spencer, you don't want to get me on that rant. You don't want to get me back on the green dots rant. Thanks, BitLab Academy. Learned a lot. Shout out to Ben. I didn't ride the wave to the bottom. Appreciate y'all. Well, good. Congratulations. Let's see. Don't consider myself a millionaire. I just make 7 figures every 2 months. What does that even mean?
I don't know. Maybe he loses it. I don't know.
I don't know. A lot of people in here showing this child support crypto in here.
What?
Yeah, there's a. They sent me a message on Twitter. Guys, we don't really support charity tokens, but if we did, that's the worst name for a token I've ever heard. Child support? Really? Child support. That's got a very negative connotation. You guys may want to go maybe tweak that language a little bit, but certainly don't come in my chat shilling it. That's a great way for me to destroy it. So that's your last warning on your child support. Hopefully I'll have to call the court and have you go to jail over that lack of child support. Okay. In the past 2 bear markets, Bitcoin has the realized price by year as support. It does not work to come in my chat and show a token. Just so y'all know, for future reference, for any of y'all may have the greatest token ever. You bring bots to my chat, and I'm going to destroy you. You do not want that. So your best bet is just not say another word about that or any other tokens when you come in here. You want to talk about Cardano? Sure. You want to talk about XRP? Sure. You want to talk about a coin that's just launched? No, we're not doing that on this channel. But I would like to say, I would like to say that, and I don't know how you're feeling, TJ. Let me tell you how I'm feeling. I'm feeling like it's about time to start looking at some of these smaller coins right now.
Oh, yeah.
As we get ready to move into quarter 2, it's about time to start considering some of these, speculative coins, as my friend Lil John, Big Lil John. Oh, yeah. Like he likes to say, because I was thinking about this today. I mean, it is time, and we're actually starting to do some. We're gonna be doing some meetings soon about what our portfolio needs to look like for this bull run, and definitely it's about time to start getting out of the safe coins. I think the super safe ones. No, I don't mean by getting out of them by selling them. I mean time to start looking outside of the super safe coins and really starting to get some of the big bang for your buck on some of these mid-range caps here. So a lot of people are looking at the $5 to $30 million range for market cap. It's definitely a good one. What's up?
Nothing. I was going to say accumulate some of the lower ones, let them run, take the profits into some of the safer ones.
What was that? Oh, yeah. I don't know how to say it right. Yeah. Yeah. Where's my guy, Lil John? You guys may not know this about Lil John, but he was very rich growing up. Lil John was very privileged. He's never says otherwise in his songs. I knew people used to go to his parties. TJ needs to end the show with an in memoriam list of all the people I destroyed during that show. That'd be pretty good. We can monitor the average price at which coins are withdrawn from all exchanges as a tool to estimate a market-wide cost basis. In this chart, we consider the average withdrawal prices, but from cohorts established by date, starting on the January 1st date for the following cohorts. You look here, the current realized price per year, and what you find is...
Do you see something there? Oh, there it is.
Yeah. So I can't... I have to move it over so far.
Pull the window
crazy.
in, maybe.
Well, yeah, but I don't want to pull the window in. I like having it full screen. Or do I not ever have it full screen?
You don't ever have it full
That's
screen.
the problem.
Yeah.
That's the problem. I see now. I see. I'll take full responsibility for that. As an aggregate basis, 2020, 2021, and 2022, buyers are underwater. But when you look at the realized price for the last 2 bear markets, 2019 and 2022, it's used the realized price as support, which is pretty interesting. To the wall? Yeah, to the window, to the wall. All right. Bitcoin Layer 2 Stacks Network. Stacks token spikes 50% as ordinals boom. Stacks Network is a Bitcoin Layer 2 for the smart contracts aimed at unleashing the world's oldest blockchain potential as a programmable platform. Now, I can tell you why this is blowing up. It's very obvious to understand why. All of this talk we've heard for years and years and years about smart contracts on Bitcoin, NFTs on Bitcoin. Well, they're coming now, it looks like. Looks like they're coming. Now, that doesn't mean they're going to be wildly successful or more successful than Ethereum NFTs. And this is the big differentiator. And the Bitcoin maximalists can't even agree whether they want that or not, right? But block stacks, which I didn't know until recently, The Bitcoin maximalists hate. Maximalists?
Maximali?
Hate block stacks. The hardcore maximalist does not like, they say it is an S coin that is trying to capitalize on Bitcoin. They are just so Did you see what McGruber said over the weekend?
No, probably not.
You didn't see what McGruber said over the weekend? McGruber told the guy at Coinbase that they have tons of unregistered securities on their site. Of course, my comment was, will suck D for the government for him. And then, of course, I had a funny meme about McGruber showing up to legislate crypto. These people they have no shame. They have no shame in defending Bitcoin. They would rather see people go to prison over selling an altcoin than to have any successful altcoin out. It's just absolutely ridiculous what their viewpoint and what their thought patterns on is. They are literally Nazis. They're literally Nazis. That's what they are. You must be of the prime race to be able to survive and be, and flourish. If you are not of the maximalist, and we had that guy. What was that guy's name? That guy that he literally agreed.
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
He literally agreed that he's good with Nazis as long as they like Bitcoin.
Yeah, I can't remember his name either.
I can't either because he's a totally irrelevant human being. But Mark Moss knows him and likes him. Wrote a book with him.
Mm-hmm.
Mark, what's wrong with you? Hey, you're going to associate with this guy who literally says, I'm good with Nazis as long as they like Bitcoin. That's what these guys are. McGruber's just like them. So, Ben, what would you do if you had $5,000 to invest? Soybeans. But anyways, tax is blowing up because there's a lot of perspective here for the future of block stacks, as now we are seeing these ordinals. And our guy, Johnny, is, no, it's not Max Kaiser. But we're seeing the guy, I'm never going to say McGruber's name on the show again because I don't want to give him any credibility. But STX, the native token of Bitcoin Layer 2 Stacks Network, is surging as a recent arrival of Ordinals protocol. It's unleashed a new narrative of NFTs and smart contracts on the Bitcoin blockchain. And our guy Johnny is all in this Ordinals community. He says they're hard to buy.
Yeah. Well,
they're really, really hard to buy.
Well, the UI is obviously terrible on it because each one has its own private key. So it's very hard, like the wallet interface is very difficult right now because it requires you to be basically passing private keys back. It's easy to get one, receive one, but to send it back out is very difficult. So yeah, they're working on it.
Get that guy TH, remove him from the chat. Get him out of here. Somebody already did it. Hey, look, you come in here and you shill your, first of all, just so everybody knows, charity coins are scams.
Almost always. Almost exclusively, charity coins are scams. What they're trying to do is they're trying to make it seem like they're doing something good. They're tugging at your heartstrings in order to get you to put money into the cap, and they're going to rug pull it later. We've seen it 100 times, if not more, in crypto. And every one of them says, no, we're different. It's a friggin' rug pull. You may not even understand you're in a rug pull, but you're probably in a rug pull. Token is risen nearly 50% to 60 cents in the past 24 hours, taking the month-to-date gain to 125%. Activity on stacks has picked up in the waves of Ordinal's popularity. Data from DApp Radar shows trading on Gamma.io, a stack-based Bitcoin NFT marketplace, and increased more than 1,000% in the past 30 days. Can we put Bitcoin on Vimeo, you think? With stacks? Probably could.
Can we integrate stacks, I wonder?
Probably.
Interesting. Very, very, very interesting. Kadena getting ZK rollups next week. That sounds interesting. Stacks is one of the rare tokens approved by the SEC. That is correct. The STX token, it was a security offering. Do you remember that?
Vaguely, yeah.
Yeah, back in 2019, I believe. So in these uncertain times when the regulator is going after a lot of crypto companies, an SEC-approved token also sounds like a good thing to the market. Wow, that is really, really good. All right. Okay, Bitcoin critic Peter Schiff predicts interest rates surge with a twist. Peter Schiff, a gold bug. That's the dumbest thing to call yourself in the world, a gold bug. I still can't, after all these years, not look at the term gold bug and think how idiotic the first person who came up with that is. I'm a gold bug. I'd rather be a Bitcoiner than a gold bug, for sure. any day of the week. And here's our Coin Ledger girl there. There she is. Look at her. What do you think she thinks about Coin Ledger? Is that April O'Neil? Peter Schiff, a gold-bugging economist well known for his critique of the popular crypto Bitcoin, says one important aspect that affected the markets in the previous year, Fed interest rates. It took the Fed until 1986 to get the high inflation rates of the 70s down to 2%. False, Peter. False, Peter. False, Peter. They changed the numbers, Peter. They just changed the way they calculate the numbers, Peter. They didn't. You know that. You have to know that. You have to know that, Peter. If you don't know that, you're too low IQ for me to discuss. Wasn't achieved again until 1998. Fed funds rate hit a high of 16.2% in 1986. Today's funds rate is 4.6%. Interest rates still have a long way to rise. Interesting. Schiff claims that it took the Fed more than a decade to bring down a high inflation rates of the 1970s down to a 2%. That is false. That is 100% false, guys. Look into it. Despite the mild retreat in price, Bitcoin was still 13% higher than it was 7 days earlier. Investors continue to generally be upbeat about the crypto markets. Look, here's the thing. Do you guys see what's coming in the next 10 years? Do you see what's coming, TJ? Do you know what they're going to do? They're going to change the way you calculate inflation again.
Just like everything else. Yeah.
That's what they're going to do. They're going to change the way that they calculate inflation to bring the number down. I don't see any way they don't do that. I mean, it just seems so natural for them, because that's what they love to do. Shapeshift responds to Senator Warren's comments to set the record straight. Non-custodial crypto platform Shapeshift refuted Elizabeth Warren, also known as the banking broad, affectionately to the BitSquad, claims of illicit financing suggested that she used the platform as a scapegoat to push her latest crypto bill. Shapeshift made a tweet on February 19th. On Valentine's Day, Senator Warren attempted to use Shapeshift as an example to push her latest crypto bill. Unfortunately, there were mistakes in the senator's analysis, and we'd like to take the opportunity to set the record straight. You know, I need some glasses for the show. I need some glasses so I can put on some Elizabeth Warren glasses. And can you just imagine her like trying to use like, this Shapeshift? What is this MetaMask? What is this? I don't understand. Ethereum? I'd like to buy some Ethereum on this exchange here. You can see it right now. Can you see it?
Mm-hmm.
Of course, she wasn't actually doing that, right? It had to be one of her staffers. She couldn't actually do anything. Okay. In a follow-up, they denied her comments regarding its involving of illicit finance. Comes after Warren suggested at the Senate hearing that Shapeshift had ulterior motives for restructuring itself as a DeFi platform in 2021. Warren suggested the restructure was to encourage people to launder money. How many of y'all are laundering money on Shapeshift? How many of y'all are doing it? How many of y'all are laundering money on these DeFi exchanges? Can we put up a poll? Sure. Let's put up a poll. I want to see a poll. How many of you are laundering money on Shapeshift? Can we guess the yes percentage? I'm gonna go 4% yes.
Yeah, 4% or less.
I'm going exact. No, you gotta give me an exact number. I'm going 4%. Where are you going with? 3%?
Sure.
Said or less.
I'll take the under.
Okay.
I mean, because people are gonna do it just to troll.
Michael Navarro, Ben, you're pretty freaking good. I see you reading and processing chat while you stay on a subject. Guys, I can't stay on a subject for nothing, but I guess I can sometimes. And this is one of those times. It comes only a day after Eric Voorhees took to his personal Twitter saying that he is looking forward to Warren submitting a proposal to the Shapeshift DAO governance process in response to her criticism of the platform.
That's pretty funny.
In which Elizabeth Warren responded, "What's a DAO?" Okay. SEC planting its regulatory flag as Congress still to pick a regulator. SEC's peers. Well, at least Hester sees it. At least Hester sees it. Hester, wearing scarlet here today. Is this a message? Is this a message that Hester Pierce is the scarlet letter of the SEC? Do you get that reference, TJ?
Yeah, I know. I had to read the scarlet letter.
Well, you know the main character's name.
No, I don't. Is it
Hester Pierce. Hester Pierce. Wow, we got 24% saying yes.
As I say, you know there's going to be trolls out there.
Man, a lot of people out here laundering money today. Oh, absolutely unbelievable. The SEC is attempting to plant its regulatory flag while Congress is still mulling which agency will be police crypto. Hello, I'm police crypto. What does that even mean?
Hester Prynne.
That's what I said.
Oh, I thought
Hester Prynne.
Gotcha.
Did I say that?
You said Pierce.
Well, I meant to say Hester Prynne.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. A commissioner at the regulator, which would make Gary Gensler, what is his name? Dimsdale. It's not Pastor Dimsdale. What is his name? I think his name's Arthur Dimsdale is his real name. Reverend Dimsdale.
Yeah, the Reverend.
Does that make Gary Gensler Reverend Dimsdale? I think it does. I read that book. I did not read that book.
I watched the movie and then wrote the report on it, but the movie,
Yeah, I know.
spoiler alert, movie's different than the book.
I didn't watch the movie. I didn't read the book. I might have read 7 of the Cliff Notes chapters. And that was when I decided I'm not doing honors classes anymore. They actually require too much work. I don't like them. Okay, so here's what's going on. Some legislation may already be on its way. Senator Tom Tillis is driving a bill to require digital asset exchanges and custodians to provide independently verified proof of reserves for their assets. Of course, Elizabeth Warren trying to tighten money laundering rules, which is so funny because as the banking broad, she doesn't seem to be focused at all on money laundering with banks.
Nope.
Which they get fined for. If Elizabeth Warren had a set of balls on her, which she may actually, if you look at her, she may have a set of balls. But the truth is that if she had any courage at all, and she could prove to you that she really was not 100% lackey by the banks, by Goldman Sachs, by Gary Gensler, you know what she would do? The next time a bank in the United States got a big fine for money laundering, she would go after them. When is the last time that Elizabeth Warren made a comment about a bank in the United States getting a literal penalty for money laundering? When? When is it? You literally have banks build. Let me explain to you how the supplement industry works. I don't know if you guys know this, but the supplement industry, the way they work is they don't have to, the FDA does not have to sign off on supplements until after someone dies. Once someone dies from a supplement, then they have to go in and do some checking. There's a lawsuit. That means there's a ton of lawsuits that go to these supplement companies. These supplement companies literally build in, as part of their budget, the amount they expect to pay out in lawsuits. The banks do the exact same thing. They literally build into their budgets having to pay money laundering fines. And Elizabeth Warren won't say a word about it because she's not who she says that she is. Elizabeth Warren is named the banking broad for very specific reasons. She looks the other way when her cronies like Gary Gensler from Goldman Sachs and all of these banks that do money laundering crimes, she looks the other way and says, oh, look at crypto. Look at crypto while I enjoy this beer. Look at crypto money laundering. But you won't say a word about real money laundering. All you will talk about is the speculative existence of money laundering on certain decentralized exchanges. It is shameful, absolutely shameful what she does. What's that $5 super chat?
Steve-O asking about Gary Gensler getting his wrench back.
Getting his what?
Wrench. Basically, Gary Gensler in the chat, we took the wrench away for a week or so ago because he was getting a little too cocky. So we'll see if he gets it back.
Gary, my man, Gary. Okay. All right. There we go. So the long and the short of it is, we are going to see, and this is how you know the SEC. Look, guys, the Congress is against Gary Gensler. CFTC is where all of this is going to lie. We're going to have a hand in that for sure. So, all right. Unworkable bill to demand blockchain immutability is introduced in Illinois. A recently introduced Illinois Senate bill has been ridiculed by the crypto community over its unworkable plans to force blockchain miners and validators to do impossible things, such as reversing transactions if ordered to do by a state court. This is hilarious. Basically, this is absolutely impossible. And this shows the lack of education in our political system when it comes to crypto. But we're actually going to be doing something about that. We're actually going to be working hand in hand to educate Congress on crypto over the next year or so. We'll tell you more about that here hopefully in a few weeks. But the fact is that you've got people proposing impossible things. This is like proposing. It would be like proposing. I propose that after someone eats something that is at least 1,000 calories, that the amount of calories be reduced to 700 for that food. That doesn't make any sense. That's what they're asking people to do. After the transaction occurs, I need you to go back and make it where the transaction didn't occur. What these people are basically asking for is a DeLorean. Not just any DeLorean, but one that can go back to 1983. Is that correct, 1983? What year do they go back to? I don't know. 1964? I don't know. All right. Is Gary a true crypto bug? Somebody needs to smash him on the bottom of their shoe. Bill also appears to mandate any person using a smart contract to deliver goods and services to include code in the smart contract. Is that like that diet? The Zatkins diet? The Atkins diet? The Zatkin? Be used to comply with court orders. I'm relentless on these typos. Crypto analyst Fubar wrote to his 120,800 Twitter followers on February 19th. Court order transactions would need to somehow be amended without needing the private key of the participants, which he considered to be hilarious, absolutely hilarious, this entire thing. They're trying to ban immutability. Meanwhile, Carlo Reyes, an assistant professor at SMU School of Law, chimed in that lawmakers should only introduce bills if they understand how the technology...
Now we're getting...
Somebody take away this lady's phone. Somebody take Twitter away from this lady. That makes entirely too much sense. This has got to be outlawed. She says people should only make laws on things they understand. How do you think our government is supposed to function? Working like that? Asinine, acid 10, acid 11. It's not going to work. No, we only need people making laws on things they don't understand. Guys, relentless on misspellings. You should watch your own H-bar video. That doesn't sound good. Where's the misspellings in there? We had a bunch of misspellings. I don't watch my own videos. We'll have to go back and watch that. 1985, that's what it is. The Vatkins diet. All right, okay. Former FTX exec Nishad Singh plans to plead guilty to criminal charges. Now, the thing I want to point out here is he got one of these proffer deals. If you don't know what a proffer deal is, it's one where they generally avoid prison time or jail time. So he is probably not going to be making it to prison, which is not the same deal that Gary Wong and Caroline Ellison got, but it is the same deal that Dan Friedberg got. So Dan Friedberg and Nishad Singh probably avoiding prison. So what does he know? We'll have to see. Real quick, TJ, let me ask you this. Do you believe that Sam Bankman-Fried is going to end up copying a plea deal?
I mean, some kind of plea deal, or you mean specifically one that gets him out of prison?
Oh, and he's not avoiding prison at all. But think about this. If he cops a plea deal, that means this will never go to trial. We'll never see court for the FTX debacle.
Yeah, I think he'll probably get some kind of. I mean, they'll try for one. I would think. I mean, if they're smart, they would push for one.
His law team.
His law team would push for. I mean, that's generally what you see in cases like this because they get what they want. They get the splashy headlines. He gets some kind of reduced sentence. We'll see.
Michael M. He won't do any prison. He's definitely doing prison time. If Caroline and Gary are doing 3 to 5 years on a deal, then you bet your bottom dollar he's doing at least 10 years. The main reason why who is saving him? Tell me. Who's saving Sam? I want to know in the chat, who is going to save Sam? You think it's Kevin O'Leary? He's probably going to prison too down the road. Once people understand what he knew about FTX, when he knew it, and why he's so adamant out there against Binance, because he's fighting for his freedom is what he's fighting for. It's the only thing that makes sense. But I want to know, who is going to save him? The politicians who have to give all the money back? Joe Biden, who has to give all the money back? Who is saving Sam? Oh, I see this all the time. People saying, he's not doing prison time. The people who signed the bond are from Stanford. Stanford. You think Stanford's got that much political power in the world that they're going to, Stanford, Gary Gensler, you think how is Gary Gensler going to save Sam? Everybody in Washington hates Gary Gensler. It is well documented. His own people at the SEC hate him. How is Gary Gensler going to save Sam? It doesn't make any sense. It makes zero sense. Let me ask you, who has more power, Joe Biden or Gary Gensler? Who has more power, the entire Senate or Gary Gensler? Who has more power, the entire Congress, entire House of Representatives, or Gary Gensler? Who has more power there? Gary Gensler works under those people. Gary Gensler, I'm so tired of people talking about Gary Gensler like he's somebody. This man has no power. He doesn't do anything. Everything that he does is a lawsuit, is a suggestion that a judge has to confirm. This lizard man has no real power. That's why he's filing all these lawsuits against everybody as he's on his way out. He's done by the end of this year. He has no power. Who is saving Sam? Who is it? Somebody with worse hair? I don't know who it would be. It is a bonus rant. You are correct. There's a bonus rant. I get so sick of people giving Gary Gensler too much credit. This man doesn't have power. He doesn't. All he can do is sit underneath a judge and beg for something. He's a dog asking for table scraps. That's who Gary Gensler is. That's why it's so shameful that you have people like Elizabeth Warren, whose daughter interned for Gary Gensler, also who Sam Bankman-Fried's dad worked for her. So she's all tied into this whole thing. Why do you think she's, she don't protest too much? Because she's right in the thick of all of it, okay? It's shameful that she would send him questions before hearings to try to prop him up. He doesn't have any real power. The best case scenario he can have is to propose some internal SEC rule changes and get a majority of other commissioners to vote with him. That's all he has. So no, Gary Gensler is not keeping Sam out of prison. Sam may be sending Gary Gensler to prison. That's the truth of this before it's all over. But he won't. See, Gary Gensler will get out of, Gary Gensler is going to be out of a job. He's probably done in politics. But the pat each other on the back and butt slap each other that goes on in the world of politics today means almost guaranteed Jay Clayton nor Gary Gensler are going to go to prison when both of them should. They both should end up in prison if you look at the things that they've done. It is beyond dastardly. But they don't have any freaking power. And I'm just so tired of people cowering down to this man, to this lizard man, this little scrawny, itty-bitty thing that looks like if somebody just blew a 2-mile-per-hour wind, he would fall over. Big bulge eyes, bald head. Guy has nothing going for him. Let's stop acting like he's somebody. It's asinine. It really is. So no, he's not keeping Sam out of prison. Okay? Just understand that for sure. He has unlimited funding is the problem. I agree with that. Definitely, 100%. He does, the funding for the SEC is a joke as well. But let me tell you, when our bill hits and the power is taken away from the SEC for crypto enforcement, what are they going to be left with? Who are they going to go after to keep their unlimited funding alive when they're not allowed to legislate crypto anymore? Which you'll see that is coming. Okay. All right, I'm done. He has a pencil neck. I agree with that. 100%. Okay. All right. Crypto hedge fund Galoy Capital shuts down after losing $40 million to FTX. Not the only one, of course. Plenty of companies lost a lot of money due to FTX. Let's see. A Supreme Court weighs YouTube's algorithms. Litigation minefield looms. And of course, did you hear about the, Susan Wojcicki stepping down? Mm-hmm. We have a new Web3 friendly guy who's stepping up to be the new leader of YouTube. In 2021, a California state court threw out a feminist blogger's lawsuit accusing Twitter of unlawfully borrowing hateful conduct, posts criticizing transgender people. In 2022, federal court in California tossed a lawsuit by LGBT plaintiffs accusing YouTube and Google of restricting content posted by gay and transgender people. In a major case to be argued in the Supreme Court on Tuesday, the 9 justices will address the scope of Section 230 for the first time. Wow, this is huge. Mm-hmm. A ruling weakening, it could expose internet companies to litigation from every direction. A ruling against company could create a litigation minefield. Now, this is probably why, let's see here. Section 230, what it does is it protects the platforms. It allows the platforms to not be responsible for the things that individual users say on their platforms. But that has to be, they have to have a set of rules and guidelines that are followed by everyone and applied to everyone. So when you have these actual platforms playing the role of God by choosing, if someone is a liberal and they make a vilified post of Donald Trump, and someone's a Republican and they make a vilified post of Joe Biden, those two things must be applied equally. You can't show favoritism to one set of people over another. And yet we saw it time after time after time on Twitter during the presidential campaign, and the Twitter files have exposed all that to be 100% accurate. Everything you thought was happening was happening. So in my opinion, Section 230 needs to be revealed or repealed on every level. And there needs to be new protections put in place that will more specifically define what a moderator is and is not, to actually keep these platforms accountable and to where they're not just firing at the hip, making decisions on every individual basis. That's not what they're supposed to be doing. So we'll have to watch that ruling. It could be absolutely massive if it were to get repealed. Gary Gensler will abuse his wrench privileges. Gary Gensler will not show up at Congress. He will if they dang ask him to. He doesn't have that much power not to show up at Congress. New YouTube CEO is bullish on Web3 tech like NFTs and the metaverse. After serving as YouTube's chief product officer for over 7 years, Neil Mohan, how would you say that?
Mohan
Was appointed last week to lead, what?
Maybe Mohan.
Okay. To lead the Google-owned streaming platform after Susan Wojcicki says she would be stepping down. It's one of the most popular websites in the world. Popularity and reach of YouTube cannot be understated. From September to November last year, the website ranked only behind Google in terms of views, with 74.8 billion visits on average per month, according to Statista, which is a terrible website, by the way. They really screw you if you join their website. You'll never get out. It's like Hotel California. In terms of the metaverse, Mohan's state of the technology's use is still in its early days, but said YouTube will work to bring more interactions to games. So the whole point is, there she is again. They really want me to sign up for CoinLedger. They really want me to sign up. Point here is this. Look for YouTube to be more Web3 friendly. Alchemey Pay token price spiked 67% following support for Google Pay. Leading fiat crypto payment gateway Alchemey Pay has announced its support for Google following Android, allowing Android phone users to purchase crypto directly with their bank cards, which is great because I only know like 2 of those people, but I'm glad they can get access. Surge in ACH is linked to Alchemey Pay's move to expand its reach mobile wallet game. Ethereum on liquid staking protocols crossed a 7 million ETH, reaching 12 billion in value. Currently, total value of assets logged on these platforms is nearly 12 million. Of course, this includes Rocket Pool, Lido Finance, Frax, Ether as well. Now, did you know that when people signed up for the liquid staking on Coinbase, or not liquid, but signed up for the ETH2 staking on Coinbase, you know they're locked up till the Shanghai update too?
I didn't realize that, but
I did not know that. I talked to somebody yesterday, and they said they were. I was like, wow.
it makes sense, I guess.
Ben versus English? I know English. I wouldn't want to fight English. Why would I want to fight English? Arbitrum's user base is fastest growing among leading blockchains. It's from Bernstein. Arbitrum has the fastest growing user base among leading blockchains. Bernstein said in a research report Monday, none of the project tokens trading on the network have also been amongst the year's best performers. How do we get access to this airdrop that's coming?
Easiest way is probably interacting with a DEX that uses Arbitrum network. So right there, it says GMX. That's one of them. There's a handful of other ones.
Yeah. Dude, people love this Vela.
Mm-hmm.
But it's already went up so much, right? And are people too late on that?
I mean, it's one of those ones that would be in that small range. It has gone up a lot recently, but it's a tiny one. I don't know what the market cap is now, but I think it's still under 30 million. So that's Small project. I'm pretty sure. I mean, I haven't checked it recently, but
People are saying you can wrap your Ether to Coinbase ETH and withdraw it. Interesting. Very interesting.
oh, now it's at 60.
Yeah, it's crushing it. Okay, so GMX as well. Blah 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 blah. There you go. Okay. Ripple versus SEC. Where's my XRP army at? Throw the X up if you love CoinLedger's model and XRP. There she is again. Gary Gensler in the chat said, "What is the address to that page? I would like to see the CoinLedger girl." So there she is again. I tell you what, CoinLedger is dead serious about the display network, for sure. We love CoinLedger. Ripple versus SEC. Judge says SEC lawyers care only about victory, not allegiance to law. That's a bold statement from the judge. Let's see. Founder of Crypto Law, US John Deaton, who's a lawyer and follows Ripple case closely, taking to Twitter to once again take a jab at the SEC in context of its legal suit against Ripple Labs. Let's see. This time he quoted the judge who criticized the legal team of the SEC. And this is, guys, this is why I tell you that Gary Gensler doesn't have power. Look at what they're saying about the lawyers at the SEC. All he can do is go beg for mercy and beg that the judge sees things his way. That's his only power that he has. And here you have Judge Netburn criticizing the SEC for struggling to prove its allegations that Ripple has been selling XRP tokens as unregistered securities. According to Dean, the judge mentioned their hypocrisy when presenting arguments to the court about him in speech. Judge Netburn, who is the magistrate judge in this case, she has more power than Gary Gensler. I want you to understand this. The judge has more power than Gary Gensler by a significant margin. Gary Gensler is a glorified district attorney. That's what he is. A glorified district attorney who's getting spanked by the judge for getting out of line too many times. That's what he was. And if you have a picture in your mind of Gary Gensler getting spanked, God, I pray that you're able to get rid of that before you go to sleep tonight. The judge drew this conclusion from the fact that on one hand, the regulator argues him in speech is not relevant. And on the other, consulted with the regulator's lawyers before delivering his speech on crypto assets. So once again, the William Hemmon speech just continues to be the center of this case. Ripple and the regulatory agency are now awaiting the verdict of the judge after they had submitted the brief documentation on the case and all the amicus briefs to Netburn. Guys, we are so close. We are so close to the end of this Ripple case. Guys, it is almost March. March is when we get kind of the final saga, the final stage here before we get a decision from the judge. And now this decision could come at the end of March. Well, a lot of us think it's going to come closer to June, but let's see here. It says, somebody said, go up just a little bit. Banks have more power and Gary owns them. More like they own Gary. The banks own Gary. Guys, the banks, they have a lot of power. There's no question about that. But it doesn't matter what they want. There are people that have to sign off on what Gary Gensler wants before it comes true. So why, BitBoy, why? What is that in regards to? I'm not sure. He gets fired and hired at Stanford. That could be the case. His political career is done for sure. Ripple lawyers have been striving to get the judge to make the SEC produce these documents. There you go. All right. Also in Ripple news, Ripple further expands into the UAE. Payments provider will use XRP. More use case from old RippleNet. Just recently, CEO Brad Garlinghouse drew attention to the global regulatory process in comparison to the headwinds the industry is facing right now. Who are these guys? And why is this guy closing his eyes? And he's also moving his hand. You can see it's a little blurry here. He wanted to grab his belt and close his eyes. Kind of a weird flex. Although Ripple itself has not yet released an official confirmation of its new partner, Matthew's wording is quite clear. The company will use XRP on-demand liquidity to optimize its cross-border payments with it. So there you go. Of course, UAE having a lot of money over there, top to bottom. I think CDP protocols are next wave. Atom has 3. Matic and BNB and Phantom have 3 stables backed by Atom so far. What is a CDP? I assume that's some kind of stable coin.
I mean, based on the context.
Yeah,
I think.
that's what I would say. We are going to be looking at some Cosmos stuff. Cosmos stuff is very interesting.
Oh, collateralized debt position.
Okay, got it. Collateralized debt position. So, yeah, basically. All right, here we go. Multiverse partners with Tencent Cloud. So there you go. Multiverse X, is that Elrond?
Yes.
I can never remember what it's called anymore. OpenSea temporarily drops fees on NFT sales to 0. This is a big deal. We've been talking a lot about in the office today. OpenSea just caving with the wind. However, it's temporary only, guys. They are only going to be temporarily doing this. It's not a permanent move by OpenSea. Just wanted to kind of try to compete with Blur. OpenSea's dead. Do you guys remember last year when I declared OpenSea dead? You guys remember? OpenSea's done. And nothing makes me happier than to see the downfall of OpenSea. After what they did to us and what they've done to tons of other people out there, after there are people who have legit NFTs that they've bought that are worth 6 figures, the OpenSea has said at some point in their history they were stolen, and now these people that paid all this money for these NFTs can't sell them. OpenSea is one of the most corrupt companies in the history of crypto, and they are getting their just desserts, and I can't wait to celebrate with some pie. Fortnite gamer who won Bored Ape Dookie Dash prizes tries to sell it for $3.7 million. Dookie Dash. What a terrible name for that. There you go. So guys trying to sell it. See what happens. Mt. Gox traders receive 90% payment in BTC. Who knows when that will actually occur. Binance takes 98% of all Bitcoin spot trading volume. Wow.
Dang.
That's insane.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. Okay. All right. We have any Q&A? A couple Q&A?
No.
No.
Not today.
We have no Q&A. That's the end of the show. Somebody says he has a Dookie Dash after his morning coffee. That's why I suggest drinking Monster. All right, guys. A lot of people asking me to do a ZK portfolio. We're going to do a video on ZK coins here pretty soon. That's all I can see. All I can say. Thank you guys so much for joining us today. Be blessed. Way out. Happy Monday.